All right, guys, so let's go ahead and start our beluga drawing. And we're going to want our beluga to be swimming kind of like this, which means our paper will need to be horizontally orientated. And I'm going to be starting with just a thin Sharpie marker to represent sketch lines. You guys at home can certainly use pencils, or if you want to use pen, that's great. Today we're going to be talking all about cross-hatching and how to add tonal values using lines, which should be a lot of fun. And I have a little sketch here that's going to help me with our drawing today. So let's go ahead and get started with our beluga. Step number one. Now again, mine is going to be a little bit scratchy because I am just going to be sketching. So there's going to be a first preliminary sketch, and then I'll go back and refine the lines. So I just want to start way over to one side. I'll start on the left side, and I'll draw the head over here and then draw its body going this way. So I'm going to use my wrist as a pivot, and I'm just going to sketch out just a curve, maybe like that. You can see I put a little curve, and again, these are going to be kind of quick, sketchy lines, and then I'll refine it. So here's my curve. Then I'm going to take my curve, and I'm going to just kind of make it go somewhat straight, like that. I'm going to stop it right about there. Now with this, I like this already, and you can see that I'm not even close to halfway. My hope is that if I fit the beluga face over here, that I'm going to be able to fit the whole body. That's the plan, I fit the whole body. So I need to work on this little round part of my beluga. It's called the melon of the beluga, and I want to add the beak. So I need to have it come over like this. Again, a little sketch, and you can tell that the beak is the furthest part of the left side of my drawing here. If I hold up my pen there, you can see that the beak is much further out than the melon. And make sure you guys try to achieve that there too. And then I'm going to bring this down. We're going to go maybe kind of like this. Again, just kind of sketching so it curves a little bit too. I'll bring my sketch mark all the way down to about right there. This beak right here that I'm drawing represents the mouth, so I'm going to kind of sketch. Let's just sketch it like this. And then we'll refine this here in just a little bit. So right here is kind of a sketch of my beluga head. Now again, we got a long ways to go, but that's close enough for kind of the face. Now let's go ahead and just sketch out the body here. And I'm going to kind of sketch in straight lines, but I'm going to have my back go all the way up, maybe to about right here. So if half of my paper is about right here, now I'm crossing the halfway point. And this back here represents kind of the dorsal ridge of my beluga. It doesn't have a dorsal fin like you might see on orcas or other types of whales. It has a dorsal ridge. It just kind of has a kind of a bump right in there. So I'm kind of sketching this down. I'm going to stop maybe. Actually I'm going to come all the way down because I need my whale to fit on this page. So we're going to go all the way to the edge. And you guys can see I almost went off. I'm going to fit it on just a little bit there. I'm going to fit it on without compromising my proportions. I wouldn't take and shrink the whole whale. I'm just going to bend it down a little bit to fit it on the page, but I don't want to squunch my whale to make it not proportionate. I'm going to start right about here, and I'm just going to kind of sketch a little bit of that kind of the tail part of my whale. I want to bring it over like this. And I'm going to start to bring this down. And you can see that this is kind of sketched out. This is the body. I'll start to bring this over, but since I'm using marker and can't erase, I'm just going to stop right. That looks like it would connect. I'll stop right about there, and I'll add this fin that I wanted to draw. It's the pectoral fins. We're just going to maybe make it go. Use all those curved lines. I can use my wrist there as a little bit of a pivot. I'm going to put a little angle to this, and there's my fin sketched out. Now I'll just finish sketching this tail, and then we'll start to refine this. And I want this to represent that this is kind of tucked back. And that so the tail is, it's actually kind of, the whale is coming over, so the tail is tucked back like that, and that's why it has that kind of look right there. So right now I did a very quick sketch of my whale without adding any kind of details or anything. So from this point I am going to go ahead and now just enhance my lines. I'm going to use a thicker marker so you guys can really see it at home. I'm just going to go right over the top of my lines. I'm going to make this a little bit thicker, just so it makes it a little more playful to have a nice. I am practicing getting my lines nice and clean here. I kind of make this a little thicker too. Kind of fun. And then I'll bring this over. Have it start to get thinner. All the way till it's nice and thin here. Just like that. And we'll do this on this side. Just a couple wavy bumps there, come down. So far I'm liking this. I think this definitely has a beluga shape. Bring this over. This marker's seen better days, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Okay. There's our tail. Okay, so not much to our beluga. It's actually pretty simple, pretty streamlined. It looks like it's swimming there. Let's go ahead now and start to refine our beluga with some details. And then I'm going to go back to my thin marker for our cross hatching so I can show you guys how to shade using lines. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to use this thinner marker here just to make my lines look a little smoother for a mouth. Make my mouth go right to there, and I'm going to kind of curve that mouth as if it's going down. It's got a little bit of a curve down. That's kind of important because that curve down helps us find the placement for our eye. And so that's what I want to go ahead and put in now. With that, as it curves down like that, I do want to go ahead and kind of just make another mark right here. And that's not its eye, but right above that I am going to put the eye in, and it's going to be kind of like a little football shape, just like we do with a kind of a human kind of eye, and that is going to represent our beluga's eye right there. And with that in mind, I do want to see if I can go ahead and offer a little bit of details with this. So I'm just going to add a little bit coming off the edge there, and we'll go back to sketching here in just a second. Before we do, I'm just going to bring this line over and kind of bring this. This is kind of where the beak meets the melon right in here. And we got our, remember we got our melon, our beak, we have our dorsal ridge, our pectoral fins, and then we got our fluke back here, the whale's back flipper here. So let's go ahead and add some details now to this area. Step one, when we want to add our tonal values, and we're going to be using cross-hatching to do it, is let's go ahead and find out where our lights meet our darks. Well, if the sun is coming through the top of the water down, the sun's going to be hitting the top, and I'm going to go ahead and just put some marks right here. And if you look closely, I am just using a whole bunch of little lines, and I'm going to bring those all the way over like this, and I'm going to go just above the eye with my little lines, and this is cross-hatching that I mentioned. I'm just putting line, 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 and I want to do the same thing and bring these all the way down now. And you can see how that now offered a tonal value. It's a little darker in here, a little bit lighter right here, but the brightest part is on the melon, and I think that looks pretty good. I'm kind of excited about that. So I'm going to just add a few more lines right here for cross-hatching, and I'm going to bring that over like that. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom of my whale's jaw, just some lines right here. Line, 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 line. Now we've done something similar to this when we add tonal values using charcoal. But with charcoal you can just smear it. It's actually pretty simple to make that a nice smooth. But with a pen you can make even lines. Now I'm taking the lines and sometimes I'm doing it the curve of the form, or you can go the opposite directions. I'm going to go ahead and put a few marks going this way. I'm going to put like as if he's got some wrinkles under his eye here. So we're going to add just some wrinkles right here, maybe another batch of wrinkles under the eye there. And I kind of like how it's a little bit lighter color up here. I'm going to add just a little spot in there and then fill this eye in dark like that. I think that helped. So we have our eye in place. We've got some tonal values. I'm going to start to bring, and let's see, where is our tonal values going to take us? I'm just going to kind of scribble it on here, but I think the light is going to go all the way over here. Now I'm going to start to bring all of these lines down. It's kind of fun to try and draw all these lines so close together to offer kind of a shadowed look. And then I can even add a few more lines if I want it to be, maybe represent a fold in there, which there certainly would be right here by our pectoral fin. So I'm going to draw a line right here. And there's going to be Isn't that interesting? Drawing shadows using nothing but lines. And this is, again, is called cross-hatching. And you can go the opposite direction like this. Make it a little darker on the belly side. Ooh, I like that a lot. And I'm gonna keep going with these shadows right here, and we're just gonna kind of work our way down. Just kind of keep going all the way. Nice thing about a whale is the light source for the most part, unless it's swimming upside down, is gonna be hitting the back of our beluga. The light sources will almost the majority of the time be hitting up here. Sometimes there'll be cool light waves, or the light from the waves of the top of the water will offer cool patterns. I'm just going to kind of I want to curve that a little bit more than I did. Just going to bring that up like this. And just kind of bring. So now let's work on the shadows right here. I'm going to bring these lines down. I think this is offering a nice three-dimensional look. And it doesn't take that long too. You'll get used to adding all these lines. I'll also start to go diagonal here for a nice cross-hatched look. Kind of gives it a clean edge there, clean look. And I'm just going to I want my lines to kind of look like they're going this way too. So I'm going to And by adding these little lines up here, I'm making it a soft edge up there. And I'm going to bring that over like this. I think I want to keep going with this, but not too much further, maybe right to there, and then start to just kind of bring it down like this. I'm going to kind of just start to bring those shaded lines down. Like that. I like how I did the crosshatch here, so I'm going to do the same thing. That. Ooh, that does look like a beluga, and we want to go ahead. I'm going to bring a few more lines, maybe coming right here. That's going to represent some folds in the beluga's outer layer of blubber / muscle. This, I think I want to make maybe another little batch like that. I'll make that one stop right about there. So we got some little bit of folds, and we are almost done. You really would not see much shadow because the sun would be hitting this. I'm just going to offer a little bit on the side. I think that did add something like that. And then for this last part here, the shadow of the tail is really dark, so I'm going to go ahead and just fill that in. And that'll represent that this fin is shadow right there. But I do want it to seem like it kind of gradually. So I'm going to put some more hatch marks right here. And then bring those hatch marks over. Isn't it interesting how you can add gradation using nothing but a combination of thin lines. I really like the folds right here. Let me just bring that down. Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite parts right there. I like the folds on the eye. We'll bring a couple folds right here. We'll make it a little bit darker down here by adding a few more lines. And I have to tell you, drawing whales is just a lot of fun, a lot of fun. They have such a unique shape and really interesting to draw. But that is it for today, you guys. A nice simple drawing of a beluga whale. And I hope you guys really tried practicing your cross-hatching, that was the big word of the day, and shading and adding tonal values using nothing but a combination of thin lines. And I tried to get those lines to move with the curvature of the form. I also went the opposite direction to offer maybe a little bit of a darker gradation, a little bit darker tonal value. I established my darkest darks, my lightest lights, all in here. And I went ahead and just kind of envisioned where the light source would go. So last step is to go ahead and sign your piece. I'm just going to sign mine discreet here. Put the year. And that concludes our beluga drawing. Hope you guys had fun with that and hope you learned a little bit about crosshatching. You guys take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.